Okay, welcome to Afternoon Art Club for 1st through 3rd grade. My name is Miss Kim. I'm the curator of education at the museum, Florence County Museum, and this is February session 2. So today we're finishing up our lesson on paper sculptures, and you guys have all made some paper sculptures or started them. Hopefully last time I've seen some being held up to the screen, so that's great. I'm excited to see those. And we're gonna actually get to talk about our sculptures with each other today. So we're gonna start out today by looking at some artwork from our new exhibit here at the museum. And it is all sculptures, just like the sculptures we've created. And in fact, the artist that created these sculptures uses a special kind of paper to make her sculptures. This artist's name is Lemanski, and I think you're really gonna love her animal sculptures. So we're gonna take a look at 2 animal sculptures today from that exhibit. And I'm going to show you, I have some video of kind of walking around those sculptures, and you'll get an opportunity to see them from all sides. I think that you will think they're really amazing. Mostly because I think they're really amazing. So I hope you enjoy them. We're also going to be able to, today I'm going to be pausing the recording and restarting the recording so that we have a chance to talk back and forth with each other. So we're gonna look at a sculpture, I'm gonna show you a sculpture, and then I'm gonna make it so that you guys can unmute and we can talk about it. And so while we're talking about it, I'll turn the recording off so we don't get any of that recorded in our video. So we'll have a chance to talk about these sculptures a little bit. And then once we've looked at these sculptures by the artist Lemanski, we will be looking at our sculptures, and each one of you will have an opportunity, if you've started your sculpture, even if yours isn't finished, if you've started it, you'll have a chance to show your sculpture and we'll talk about them together. So same thing, we'll turn the recording off while we're talking. So I'm excited to get started. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen so that you can see my presentation that will show you the sculptures. So let's start that. I'm going to share my screen with you here. Okie dokie. And I also am going to go ahead and pull the chat box up. Please remember that if you have any questions while I'm talking, that you can put those in the chat box, okay? So we are going to start out by talking about some sculptures today, and I'm excited to show you these because these are so cool. All right. Now, before we get started talking about sculpture, I want to go over a way that we can this is sort of a guide for talking about artwork. And so these are particularly about talking about sculpture, but what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a photograph and a video of all the sides of the sculpture that we're going to be looking at and talking about. And you're going to have a few minutes just to look at it. So that'll be time for you to think about what you're seeing, think about the different things that you notice about this sculpture, really look closely and see if you can kind of get an idea for how the artist made the sculpture maybe, or why you think they chose the materials they chose, or what is the sculpture even of? You might need a few minutes to really think about that. So while you're looking at it, I want you to be thinking about those things. And then when I pause the recording, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you, what's going on in this sculpture? What's going on here? What do you see in this sculpture? So you guys are going to have a minute to kind of talk with me about what you see in the sculpture. And I might ask you what you see that makes you think that. So be ready to talk about what you see in the sculpture that helped you form your idea or your thought about the sculpture. And then I'll ask you what else you can find. So these are really good guiding topics for how to talk about a piece of artwork, and in this case, how to talk about sculpture. So let's get started. This is the first of the sculptures we're going to look at today. This is a sculpture that is by the artist Lemanski. The sculpture is titled Painted Wolf. That's the title of the artwork. And I want you to look closely at the photograph. All of this patterned material is paper. It's all a type of paper. Isn't that interesting? Now, Annie Lemanski uses a wire kind of skeleton. She builds a wire skeleton for these animal sculptures that she creates. And then she uses a special type of paper that she prints these patterns on. These patterns are printed. And then she sews these little pieces of paper onto that wire skeleton to create her sculpture. So that's kind of how she goes about making them. Let's take a look at the video of the sculpture. And I want you, as we're looking at the sculpture, and I'm kind of in the video, I'm sort of walking around the sculpture, I want you to look very closely and see what you notice. You guys ready? Here we go. All right. So here is the side of the sculpture. All around the back, you can see the tail of the animal, its legs. The other side. We're going to kind of zoom in and look at some details now. Up close, look at all those stitches. You can see how the paper is cut and pieced together and sewn together. All right. So, I'll let you keep looking close. You can see sort of the underside, sort of the chest of the animal. All right. Now, guys, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to pause the recording. Okay, so now let's take a look at the next sculpture. Oops. All right, so this one is called Black Widow. Now, a black widow is a type of spider. We actually have black widows right here in South Carolina, and they can be dangerous spiders. So let's take a look at this sculpture. So first of all, remember, we're just going to take a few moments to just look closely at it. So go ahead and look at the photograph. This is just a still photograph. Take a minute to look and see what you can notice about it. And now we're going to look at the video of it. So we're going to take a close look and just observe all the parts of the sculpture. You can see how it's kind of attached to the wall. You can see the body. We can see sort of the face and the fangs of the spider. It's a little creepy, isn't it? And its legs. All right, and see how long its legs are. Okay, so now I want you to just take a moment and think about what you notice about this. Think about what it makes you think of and what you notice about this spider sculpture. I'm going to pause the recording and we're going to talk a little bit about it. And start the recording again. All right, so let's talk a little bit about our own sculptures. Now that we've looked at the sculptures of Annie Lemanski and we've seen that you can do some really amazing things with paper, let's take a look at our own sculptures. Now, I'm going to share my desktop screen with you first so that you guys can see what, I'm just going to do a really quick review of what we did last time. So let's do that. Let me go ahead and share my desktop screen. But I do want you to see what we are going to try and lock this. All right. So I do want to show you the the different ways that we can go about creating a three-dimensional sculpture. So we talked about this a little bit last time, and we looked at 4 different methods for creating a sculpture. So we talked about folding paper. So we can fold our paper forward and backward, what we called an accordion fold. Hopefully you remember that last time. Creating an accordion fold, just like that, forward and backward, doing that accordion fold. And we talked about creating loops, how we could just take the paper, fold it over and glue it down to create a loop. And so I've got a couple of those right here. We also, chat box just in case. All right, so if you have a question, remember to put it in the chat box and I'll do my best to answer it. Okay, we also talked about making a fringe. So we used some scissors to cut into our paper to make a little fringe. And then the 4th one that we practiced was curling. So we took our paper and we curled it around a pencil or a marker or something like this. Just curled it around to create curls. Now, in your sculpture, we talked about how about everything we did to one side, we did the same thing to the other side. So whatever we did to the left, we also did to the right. So you can see on mine, I've got my green papers, both sides are folded. My pink papers, both sides are curled. My blue papers, both sides are fringed. And we can just keep going. Everything I did on one side, I did on the other side. Now, before you guys show your sculptures in just a second, I'm excited to see them. I want to show you one other thing you can do. And I have done that with this one. This is another sculpture that I made. So I curled my orange papers. I did a loop with my white papers. I folded my blue papers, curled my yellow papers, did a little fringe with my pink, and folded my green papers. So another thing you can do, if you want to display your sculpture just by laying it on the table, you could, but I want to show you how to hang your sculpture to create a really fun hanging way of displaying it. So you don't have to do this at all. This is just one option. So if you have a hole puncher at home, you can use a hole puncher and just find the middle of your paper and just punch a hole right there in the center, in the part that's glued together. Tough to punch through all that paper. You might have to get a grown-up to do that. So you can punch a hole, or if you don't have a hole puncher, you can get a grown-up to help you use a pencil or a pen or something just to kind of punch a hole in there. I'm going to use my hole puncher since I have one. So you'll need 2 holes, one on either side. I had a lot of paper on that one, so it's hard to punch through. There we go. All right, so now I have 2 holes that are punched. And I can just use some string. This is kind of probably a little bit hard to see. This is just like clear fishing line, or monofilament is what it's called. You could use yarn. You could use any string that you have access to. This is just something that I had at my desk. So I just cut a little piece of it, and I'm going to stick this up, down through one of my holes. I'm going to stick the string down through that hole and up through the other one. Down through one and then up through this one. Just like that. It's hard to see because the string is not dark. And then you could just tie a knot in the end of it. I have 2 ends right there. See those? And I can just tie them in a knot. And then my sculpture can hang. And that's kind of hard to see from that view, but it's hanging. And I'll show you that. I'll stop sharing here in just a second and show you that. So let me stop sharing. All right. Okay, so see, my sculpture's hanging now. because of the little holes I put in. So you don't have to hang your sculpture. That's just it's just a fun way to display it, just by punching some holes in it and running some string through there, and then it hangs. Or you could just set it on a table and let it sit down. So either way, these are just two different ways that you could display your sculptures, okay? The hanging one kind of moves around. It kind of looks a little like an insect, doesn't it? I think it does. All right, so there you go. Those are examples of ways you can display your sculptures. Now, I'm going to pause the video and then give you guys an opportunity to show your sculptures if you have them, and then to also talk a little bit about what it is or maybe what you enjoyed about it. All right, so I'm going to pause the recording. Okay, guys, so great job on your sculptures. I'm so proud of everyone for creating really unique sculptures using just simple techniques. And I am excited that next month we're going to be starting a new lesson. We're going to be talking about landscapes next month. So we're going to look at some examples of landscape paintings and other types of landscape artworks. And we're going to be creating a really unique landscape of our own. So I'm excited to do that with you guys next month for the month of March. So we will meet again on March the 4th. So that's 2 weeks from today, March the 4th, we'll be meeting together again to begin talking about landscapes. Now, I do want to remind everyone, please take a photograph of your amazing sculptures and send them to me. Email your photographs to me. You can take a picture. If you decide to hang your sculpture, you could take a picture of it hanging in front of a wall. Or if you're just setting your sculpture on a table, then set it down and take a photograph of just your sculpture, nothing else in the photograph, just your sculpture, because we will be using these sculptures for our online art exhibition. And I want to show that to you really quickly. I want to show you what that looks like. So if you have not gone to look at our online art exhibition, I want to show you how to do that. We have one up from the fall. So if you participated in Afternoon Art Club for October, November, and December of last year, then our exhibition is currently up. And I want you to see what it will look like so that you can get excited about your artwork being in that exhibition. So let me show you. I'm going to share my screen really quick one last time with you for today. All right. Now, if you go to the Florence County Museum's website, this is our website right here. If you go to our website and go up to the top, and you can click on Learn, and then go down to Kids and Family. And if you scroll down, you'll see Afternoon Art Club. That's what we are doing together is Afternoon Art Club. If you click on that, right here, you'll see a button that says View the Afternoon Art Club Fall Exhibition. So if I click on that, I'll try it one more time. Here it goes. Yay. I wanted you to see. Okay, and so you'll be able to go on, and right now, the artwork that's in our online exhibition is for students that participated in the fall. So we can go right here and take a look at all the amazing artworks, and you can kind of walk through the gallery as if you were right here in a museum, and you can kind of choose where to stand and look at the different artworks. We can click on an artwork and see right here the artwork of our friends, and you can see your friend's name and their grade and how they created that artwork. So all these artworks are located right on our website. And so at the end of Afternoon Art Club, at the end of March, we'll be putting together an exhibition of the work that you guys have created. So I would love for you to send me photographs of your work so that we can include that in our online art exhibition. So I hope that you'll go to our website and view the exhibition, but please send me photographs of your work, of both your clay fish sculpture. If you haven't already, I have gotten some photographs, but if you have not sent me a photo of your clay fish sculpture, please send me that, and send me a photograph of your paper sculptures, so we can include those in our online art exhibition. I always enjoy meeting with you guys. I hope you've had fun in Afternoon Art Club today, looking at sculpture and talking about sculpture. And next class, we're going to be beginning landscapes. So we're going to be talking about landscapes. I hope you guys have a really wonderful week. I am going to unmute you. First of all, I'm going to stop the recording. So I'll see you all next time.